Hey guys, welcome back to the Return to Jurassic Park Comics series. This is episode 8 of 9, and the final issue in the Derrick and Abby arc. When we last left these two, Abby had just narrowly escaped both of the soldiers that had framed her for their crimes, and after trekking through the vast jungles of Isla Nublar, Abby was able to grab Derrick and pull him from his room and into a quest to clear her name, by finding the film inside of the Army Mailbag that would expose living dinosaurs to the public. They take off, straight for the site where Abby dropped the bag, deep in the jungles of Isla Nublar, the former site of Jurassic Park itself. While our protagonists are off searching for the film, both soldiers give General West their version of what's just happened. After hearing that the girl had apparently attempted to crash the chopper the men were in, a very skeptical West tells his men to wait by the helicopter while the others search for Abby, whom these upstanding men have said fled off to the dorms. After the general leaves, these liars begin their walk into the jungle. If they don't get to that film before the girl does, then they may be in more trouble than they'd bargained for. It isn't too long before the two come across a lone Stegosaurus grazing. This docile creature seems to be blocking the men's only accessible path, so after some rather illogical thinking, the two decide to push the dinosaur over in a manner similar to cow tipping. Unfortunately for them, this Stegosaurus responds by swatting at the pair with its spiked tail, destroying a tree and forcing them back in the process. During their retreat, the men begin to tumble down a steep hill, which pushes them deeper into the wilds of this island. While this is happening, Abby and Derrick come across a juvenile Ouranosaur on their journey. The dinosaur seems to have been separated from its herd and opts to follow the pair during their search, much to the displeasure of Derrick. It is at this point that the three of them are assaulted with several tranq darts getting fired nearby. Luckily dodging all of the darts, the two humans and the dinosaur run deeper into the jungle, where they just so happen to locate the mailbag. It seems to have landed in the middle of some dinosaur's nesting grounds, but as soon as this discovery is made by our heroes, the two soldiers arrive to take it from them. One of the men makes a move for the bag, before the Ouranosaur leaps onto the soldier and pins him to the ground. A fight breaks out between these would-be photographers and the young beast before another animal presents itself to the group. A full-grown Parasaurolophus bellows at the intruders who invaded its nest, and in an instant, Abby, Derrick, and the Ouranosaur take off running from the site. The two soldiers stay back and decide to tranquilize the animal that has arrived to shoo them out of its territory, and in a truly stupid display of incompetence, the soldiers actually shoot a tranq dart at the dinosaur, which causes it to fall directly on the traitorous men. These two aren't injured per se, but find themselves pinned to the ground and trapped under the bulk of this prehistoric clone, while Abby and Derrick happen to be free with the mailbag in hand. This all leads to the other members of the armed forces showing up in an effort to free these men from underneath the dinosaur. Once the scientists are able to find General West and explain what exactly went down, and what the contents of this bag really hold. Despite all of this, the General still states that the evidence can easily be weighed against Abby with no clear indication as to whether or not she simply planted the film in the soldier's effects to clear her name, thus giving the General one final idea in getting to the truth of this whole ordeal. It would seem that a tabloid's information was found along with the film of Jurassic Park's secret attractions, and after a quick phone call with the owner of the establishment is made, the two villains in this story finally get what's coming to them. After such a long drawn-out day of adventure, Derrick confronts Abby alone during a sunset on the island. He apologizes for not being there for her earlier, but also makes it known that he feels genuinely drawn to the girl after everything they've been through. And in a peaceful embracing of his fellow scientist, Derrick is greeted with the hot, wet tongue of the young Ouranosaur blocking his lips from Abby's. Again, Derrick must put up with the constant admiration of Jurassic Park's wildlife, which gets him some well-earned humor thrown his way by the girl he's become attached to. And as the sun finally sets on Isla Nublar, their story comes to a close, ending the second arc of the Return to Jurassic Park series. Even though one final issue remains, this in fact concludes both of these characters' involvement in the comics. To say their story was different to what we usually see is an understatement. The second part of the Return series is one of the more campy and less serious tales told within the franchise, and also one that I'm sure many of you were unaware of even existing until I began reviewing it. In my honest opinion, this is actually an okay story that I think a lot of kids will probably love, but I personally was looking for something more along the lines of the Green Flame tale that we were teased with during the first 4 issues of the comic. I really enjoy the story with Edgar Prather and the rogue soldiers on Nublar, and it's a pretty big drag that the plug was pulled on it back in the day. Like I said, I do think that its replacement was totally fine, but it's just not what I expected after reading all 10 issues of the Raptor storyline, and of course the first half of this particular series. Now the final issue actually takes us even further back into the past with a very awesome character that happens to be a part of a lot of badass stuff in these books, if I do say so myself. Robert Snap Your Neck Muldoon is coming back in the final issue of Return to Jurassic Park, along with Hamid and Nedry, in an issue that I'm certain will be a ton of fun. Now, I want to thank all of you for watching this video, and hope you all had fun with today's content. If you enjoyed what you've seen, I'd appreciate the like and hope you consider subscribing if you're interested in seeing me again. I'll see you all in the next video, guys, and as always, take it easy.